Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Captain Frost and this is gonna be our guide for Arms Warrior in patch 10.1 World of Warcraft Dragonflight. So if you're looking for a high intensity damage dealer, look no further than Arms Warrior. These bad boys specialize in bleeds, proc gameplay and execute damage, making them a formidable force on the battlefield. Their rotation kicks off with a little combination of Mortal Strike, Overpower and Rend, followed by some serious burst damage like a Colossus Smash. And when it's time to finish off the enemy, Arms Warriors rely on their heavy hitting execute ability. But be warned, their rotation is super resource intensive, which means you'll need to generate and spend rage quickly to keep up with the action, and because nearly every ability is a resource spender, you'll need to think a few steps ahead. So if you're ready for some spiky gameplay and love a good challenge, give Arms Warriors a try. As an Arms Warrior in World of Warcraft, optimizing your stats is a vital aspect of maximizing your performance on the battlefield. In this guide, we'll delve into the intricacies of stat prioritization, helping you determine the best combination of stats for your character in patch 10.1. So, Critical Strike and Haste are two most important stats for an Arms Warrior, followed by Mastery and then Versatility. However, the values of these stats can vary depending on your character's gear and playstyle. It's important to note that item level will almost always be more important than perfect stat distribution. The relationship between Critical Strike and Haste is complex, as they both affect rage generation, but Haste also impacts the GCD speed, allowing for more abilities to be used during debuff windows like Colossus Smash. As a result, the position of these two stats can frequently flip. To ensure you're getting the most of your character, it's recommended to focus on both stats until you hit the point of diminishing returns. When it comes to gearing up your Arms Warrior in World of Warcraft, obtaining the perfect best-in-slot gear may not always be practical. Instead, we suggest prioritizing the acquisition of the best-in-slot trinkets, as they bear many unique effects while putting a greater emphasis on item level for the rest of your gear. Of course, obtaining tier set bonuses as soon as possible should be a top priority and may even be worth sacrificing item level for. With loot scarcity in mind, it's important to make the most of the gear that you do acquire, and item level should always be considered as a primary factor in determining which pieces to equip. Now let's talk about our best trinkets. First up, the ominous Chromatic Essence. This trinket is a must-have for any warrior looking to maximize their flight bonuses. By coordinating with your allies, you can ensure that overlap is maximized, leading to some serious damage dealt. Next, we have the Beacon of to the Beyond. This trinket is an unused trinket damage dealer that boasts the highest item level in Season 2. If you're looking for some serious burst damage, this trinket is a no-brainer. If you're lucky enough to get your hands on the Screaming Black Dragon skill, you'll be in for a treat. This trinket has a very high uptime and can really boost your damage output. However, since it's so rare, it's highly competitive, so be prepared to fight for it. The Vial of Animated Blood is another great option for Arms Warriors. This unused stat trinket aligns perfectly with Avatar, making it a great choice for burst AoE damage. Last but not least, we have the Iridius Fragment. While it provides the same stats as the Vial, it's a bit less good for our spec, and it is pretty good for classes with a lot of haste and instant attacks, since it runs out much faster. But still, you want to prioritize Vial over this one. As with any gear, it's important to find what works best for your playstyle, so get out there, loot those bosses and see what trinkets work best for you. Our next step in the guide is talents. Let's talk about best raiding builds for Arms Warrior in patch 10.1. You might wonder if there are any changes to the talent tree going into Season 2. The good news is that there aren't any major shifts. You'll still be using the same talents and rotations as before, even after getting your full T30 set bonus. While there are a few options available in the talent tree such as Slam and Skull Splitter, they aren't worth considering at the moment, so focus on the core talents and perfecting your rotation for maximum damage output in raid encounters. Export links to the talent trees for both raiding and Mythic Plus are gonna be in the pinned comment below the video, but if you want to look at them, you can pause the video now and glance through them right now. When it comes to Mythic Plus builds, as Arms Warriors acquire their full T30 set bonus, they will transition to a new playstyle centered around sweeping strikes, focusing on 2 target damage with buffed Mortal Strike. This approach results in a boost to priority damage but requires more careful cooldown management. While you're still using T29 set from Season 1 of Dragonflight, you want to use the Season 1 talent build as well. If you're interested in rotation guides, I highly recommend you checking the Icy Veins or Wowhead guides, where they have deep explanations of how, when and why you should press every button of your class specific rotation, and with all the variety of talent builds, it will be quite hard to describe this information in talking format, at least in my opinion. Now, when it comes to our consumables, best Arms Warrior enchants are Sophic Devotion for weapon, Graceful Avoidance for cloak, Waking Stats for chest, Devotion of Avoidance for bracers, Shadowed Belt Clasp for your belt, Frosted Armor Kit for legs, Watcher's Loam for boots, and Devotion of Critical Strike on rings. Then you have your alternate versions for enchants with Wafting Devotion for weapon, Homebound Speed for cloak, Sustained Strength on chest, Devotion of Leech for bracers. With legs we have Fierce Armor Kit instead. Then for boots, Planesrunner's Breeze, and for ring there is a Devotion of Haste, as we want Critical Strike and Haste both simultaneously in our build. Then the best file that we have for Arms Warrior is File of Tepid Versatility. When it comes to our combat potions, you just want your Elemental Potion of Ultimate Power with maybe situational multi-target option with Potion of Shocking Disclosure. And finally, you want to have your feasts, you want to have your food for main stat, which one of the top examples are gonna be Grand Banquet of the Keloak or Horde of Draconic Delicacies. And when it comes to our gems, you do want to have your inscribed limited diamond with primary stat and some crit strike chance and then for your regular jewels, you either want your crafty Ephemerals or crafty Alexstrosite with either haste as main stat and crit strike as secondary, and crit strike as main stat and haste as secondary on your jewels. And that's mostly it when it comes to this guide. If you want more content like this, then definitely subscribe to the channel. Hope you're having a blast playing Dragonflight Season 2. Have a good day and goodbye.